Hey Leo, welcome back to another weekly reading. Um, Missed you all. It's probably been close to almost, a week and a half, 2 weeks since I put anything out. So, um, yeah, onwards and upwards, right? Coming on here, we have the Judgment to start. Oh, that's a powerful beginning. This is kind of always like my coming to God moment. It can be like verdicts being brought down. That's a lot, but we'll take them. We've got the Moon out next, the Emperor, the Knight of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, and the Five of Cups. Wow, that's a lot of majors right off the top. Let's give me a moment here to get into the flow. I feel something's been brought to light about an emperor. I don't know that it was the most positive of news. Let's just change this here. Yeah, so I'm dealing with an Aries right now. Ten of Cups on the bottom here. Leo, are you dealing with an Aries? There's some hastiness involved in whatever this was that's affected a foundation, a legacy, a family unit, which has led to, I feel like you walking away from something and feeling pretty sore about it. There's like I don't know if you've been feeling depressed, but something was illuminated, and it really took the wind out of your sails here. It really did. Let's get some more cards out to get some more energy in here. This feels a bit convoluted, honestly, at first glance. My channeling abilities have not been as strong this week in particular, so I don't know if it's me or if it's the situation, but I'll try to describe it as best I can. There's definitely a huge emotional loss here. And I feel it does relate to matters of the heart because we've got some red amongst the water here. But not all is lost, of course, with the Five of Cups, like right on the Hierophant here, marriage institution, that sort of thing. Or doing things the old-fashioned way, the way they've always been done. Oh, we've got a Queen of Cups. I feel like I'm reading for a masculine energy. Could be feminine. Let's see. We've got the Queen of Cups here, the Sun in reverse, the Seven of Cups in reverse, the Page of Cups upright, and the Two of Pentacles. I feel like the Queen of Cups is likely you. It's possible that I'm reading for somebody who carries the energy of an emperor, and this loss, this walking away relates to somebody who is the Queen of Cups. So take it as you see fit. But I really am drawn to the fact that you found out something about this emperor here. So he does not look very happy. Perhaps it's you that made a rash decision and now there's fallout from it as well. I'm also getting that scenario. But whatever it is, I think it's interesting because I just did Sagittarius's reading and they had the Queen of Pentacles. And in this deck, both of these characters are kind of looking down at the foundation of what is most important to them with kind of like a sad look on their face. And here's this Queen of Cups. So for them, it was more about the home and stability and that sort of thing. And for you, it's more of that emotional realm here. And the Sun in reverse, I mean, can you think of a worse card to get? Really? It's like there's no sunshine when she's gone. I just heard that song. No idea who sings it. It's from way back. But it's just that melancholic sort of energy that I get. Bill somebody. Anyhow, someone, if that resonates with you, go listen to that song, No Sunshine When She's Gone. Yeah. I feel like there's no choice here. Like it feels like it's kind of like the worst case scenario and there's no going back. It's funny because I keep getting drawn back to these two, like I don't know if it's like a cross watcher thing and then the person who this reading is for, but it's almost like I keep getting drawn back to you potentially have making a rash, foolish decision with respect to something, and this emperor, this came to light, and this emperor put his foot down and is like, that's it, done, like out, sort of thing. Is the energy that's coming through right now, and then it flips back the other way. But I'll just read it as I hear it coming through. It's almost like there is no going back. Like when this person shut the door, if you shut the door, there is no going back to this. Okay, there isn't. There's no, there's no second chances here. There's no way to kind of get yourself back in. There's no way to. There's no offering, big or small, that's going to change any of this. Yeah, I get that with the Page of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. That's the energy that I'm picking up off of that. Like I just hear like this is a done deal. And I think this is potentially you looking back about this and thinking like, why did I do that? Like whatever this was, it wasn't worth it. And I'm purposefully leaving it open like that because, yeah, I think you might have felt like this was your Nine of Cups, that this would have been a good thing, that, but whatever this decision was, right, it was short-lived and it destroyed something for good. Because this Aries here, or this Emperor up here, is not having any of it, sort of thing. Now, you could be the Emperor and this other person could be Queen of Cups. Like I said, I'm sorry it's a bit convoluted, but if I get those scenarios, I just have to describe it that way. Because it's not for me to figure out necessarily. It doesn't always make sense to me, but it's my job to communicate it, right? And it always ends up making sense to someone, especially I find in these convoluted readings, I'll say like, gosh, I hope this is making sense to somebody because it's making no sense to me at all. And then someone sure enough will write like, yep, like that's my story, live in it sort of thing. And that's what's most important, right? I honestly, again, I feel like this has to do with this Knight of Wands up here. Like if this was a fling or if this was an impulsive decision that you made in some way, shape, or form, it's almost like you thought that it was your Nine of Cups, that it would lead to the Two of Cups, that this would heal you, that this would balance things out, like life would be better. It's almost like the grass would be greener on the other side. And I don't think it necessarily turned out that way. It could be too that if you're a cross watcher, oh, this is so confusing, Leo. This doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's a doozy. It's almost like you were looking for someone that could be your Nine of Cups. I think you might have been feeling some emptiness and some loneliness and turned to somebody to look for that feeling of like you're winning, someone that you could connect with on a soul level, like on a deep level, which is pretty hard to do with an Emperor, quite honestly. Someone, a healing relationship, a relationship that was more balanced in that, it balanced more of that earthy qualities with the water qualities. So grounded, and yet emotions were still allowed to flow. Whereas with the Emperor, they're pretty grounded, pretty this is it sort of thing. And I wouldn't describe them as like a warm and fuzzy type of person, you know, and I think that's potentially what you were hoping for, what you're looking for. If cross-watcher, you're watching this, what you wanted with your Emperor here. Oh, that was a big jump. So we've got the Tower and the Seven of Pentacles coming out next, with the Nine of Pentacles on the bottom. I just heard you were trying to have it all and it backfired. You were trying to have it all and it backfired is what I just heard. I will say this is also coming through. Marriages don't, or relationships don't just fall apart on their own. You know, it takes two. And I think, more importantly, if a relationship is strong and it's meant to stand the test of time, then it likely won't fall apart. Or if it does, the two people can meet in the middle sort of thing and bring it back together. So there was obviously cracks somewhere that led up to this because one of you wasn't happy. Or one of you is prone to giving in to kind of impulsive decisions and wanting to have it all and not thinking about it later, which very likely is not, I mean, that's not the energy of an Emperor, right? We've got the Hermit coming out next, the Ten of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. This feels like there's some of the similar energy into the Sagittarius reading, so you might want to check that out. Oh, we've got the Ten of Cups at the bottom again. You know, this happy home, this ideal, this happily ever after. I really do feel like it kind of lines up with these cards here with wanting, again, that Nine of Cups, that strong commitment with someone, that soul bond with somebody, more balanced relationship, this Ten of Cups. I feel like one of you was actually looking for this. You wanted this, and you weren't getting it in the current relationship. And so this decision was made, you know, this fairly impulsive decision was made, or somebody caught your attention and you thought they could offer it and it backfired, I think, is what I'm thinking. With the Hermit here, this is, I just get this heavy feeling of, you know, when you think about this or this other person's thinking about this, you're just like, what have I done? It's almost like that regret, that feeling of like, I can't get this back. And I've just made things 10 times worse. Like this feels even worse. Like it might have been temporary or short-term satisfaction or gain, but it's short-lived and it's left you feeling trapped more than anything, because we've got the Ten of Wands here with the Eight of Swords and with the Ace of Wands in the middle. So the Ace of Wands kind of being like this exciting venture, this whatever this was, this decision that was made, wanting something different than what you had. And, you know, when you think about this now, you're just like, why did I do that? Like, I just made it 10 times worse is what I keep hearing, okay? When at the base of all of this, all you ever wanted was a happy life. You wanted that Ten of Cups, right? So it's one of those situations. We can't blame people. We're human beings. We're fallible. We make mistakes, you know? And, you know, it's the heart's desire sometimes. I want that Ten of Cups. I want that happy family life. It's something that I don't have. But unfortunately, sometimes that can come at a cost too. And you might say, fortunately, maybe this was meant to be blown apart. You know, maybe this was meant to happen this way. In any event, it's what it is now. So now what do you do, sort of thing, right? Yeah, we've got the High Priestess coming out next with the Nine of Swords on the bottom. Tell us more about this High Priestess. I'm just hearing, if I had have known then what I know now when I saw that High Priestess come out. With the Hierophant. Interesting combination, the High Priestess and the Hierophant. I'm going to have to give that some thought here. I just heard, would you have done things any differently? I think this probably went against everything that you stood for or you felt was important in the past, almost like a disbelief. Because I get the sense there was commitment here between the two of you. Like, I get the sense that this was serious. Both of you took it seriously. I don't know if this is uncharacteristic for you or this other person. Is the energy that I'm picking up? Page of Swords on the bottom. Let's get some advice here. Get some more insight. Because, okay, fine. Like, today is all about, we're telling a story. We're talking about positions that people are in. But what's the advice? What are you supposed to take from this? If you're going through this, you already know. But what next? Whoever this Aries is, whether it's you or the other person, they're not going to forgive. Or it won't forgive easily. Not for you. I just, like, I'm looking at these chess pieces and I just hear game over. So if you're in this situation, you're not going to take this person back. That's it. Like, there's a line in the sand. Yeah, fork in the road. I feel like this is speaking to the past. Like, you had a choice to make, or whoever, like, cross-watcher, again, not to make this more confusing than it needs to be, but whoever is identifying with this, it's almost like a choice was made. You know, there was a fork in the road decision, and that's it. Come to the edge. It was risky. This really speaks to me about how risky this situation was in love, and you stepped to the edge and the tower came down, sort of thing. Interesting. Happy. Ooh, that's kind of, clarify that, please. Between worlds. It just feels more confirmation, like this energy of this person or this situation made you feel good. It made you feel alive again. It made you feel like this was the key. This was everything that you needed in life. This was kind of it. But unfortunately, fortunately, you can see the glass is half empty or half full. It's put you in a position now where you're in between worlds, right? Where you're in the in-between space, which doesn't feel quite as good. Poised. Got that one in Sag too. It's almost, I want to say that someone feels like they're just going to make the best of it. Like, what's done is done, right? Because this has already happened, by the way. This has already happened. And so it's almost like this stepping into a new life then. It's just like, well, if this is it, if this isn't for me, if there were cracks were there and this happened and they're not having me back, then it's time to move on. And you'll make the best of it. And realize that you weren't necessarily happy. No place like home. That sounds terribly contradictory, doesn't it, after I just said that? So, 50 breaking down to a 5, this really speaks to transitions. Why and by the book. The other thing I notice here is we've got 2 3s. I think one of you is left wondering why the other one did this. Because one of you felt like everything was okay and that you did have everything that was needed. I think the Emperor felt like, why? We had a strong family. You had everything you wanted, sort of thing. A beautiful home. A beautiful life, right? So why? Right? Like they did everything. One of you did everything by the book. You got a good job. You got married or stayed together common law or whatever. You might have had a kid, right? I don't feel children in here, but it's possible, right? You lived a very good life. There was money to be had. There was all the things. So everything looked perfect. So what happened? What was the problem? I feel like is how one of you is left feeling. Just had the song I Wish It Would Rain by Phil Collins. That resonates with you. You might want to take a listen to that in this situation. That's very much this card here. When I think of that song, that's the energy that it carries. I feel like that song's for whoever has this feeling of like, what didn't I do right? What did I do wrong? Where did this go wrong? Right? Just feeling drawn to use this one other deck. What do we got for time? Oh, we're still doing all right. Give this a bit of a shuffle. Check out the Sagittarius reading. It's got some really similar energies in here. Yeah. Check that out. If the title resonates, you might want to check it out. Forgiveness. Okay. Well-being. It's interesting. It's interesting because there's something about this situation that makes someone feel lighter. Or they're releasing this. Around the time of the full moon, there's just this release, this lightness, and just this like let it go. Interesting. That's interesting. There's so many contradictory energies, and perhaps it's because in these situations, rarely is it ever black and white. It's usually very gray areas, right? Where one minute you might be feeling one thing and the next minute you feel another. Like it can be a roller coaster. So feelings are never really straightforward and neat and tidy. They can be quite messy. And so I don't know if that's the energy coming through in this reading here. Where one or both of you might be kind of all over the place, but there's something about release, because the full moon is about the time of release, right? And there's something about, for your well-being, letting this go. And it could be because the not for you card, it could be both of you learning to release and let go. You may never have the answers that you need if you haven't gotten them yet. or they might become more apparent later. But I do feel this was like a longer term relationship or commitment, for sure. Willpower and truth. Well, it's funny, willpower for sure, because at some point there was a lack of it. There was a lack of willpower to walk away from whatever this was. But again, is there a reason for that, right? You know, we make a decision, but then we go from there, and perhaps it took us down a different path of truth, of our heart's desire, of what we really wanted, what we really didn't want. I don't think it worked out with this other person, but it led to some sort of truth, right? That leads to a sense of peacefulness. It's similar to this well-being card as well. I'm just hearing like it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's learned all the same. So Leo, I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'd be interested to know your thoughts. And it's always helpful to keep it constructive when I get like trash can comments or like just really negative stuff. It's not like super productive. Even a thumbs down would do, I suppose. But if it's a thumbs down, it just means the reading wasn't yours, right? But in any event, if it resonated with you, give it a like. Constructive comments are always welcome. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye-bye.